La da dee, la da da da, la da da da, la da da da. And good evening. Hello, Internet Land. Big. And tonight we are flying solo. So I'm painting. How y'all doing tonight? Got a few things going on. Lady D is working tonight. So she gets off about a half hour after our show ends. So we're just going to talk. Commodore, how are we, sir? I've been on a bit of a bend lately, getting some figures painted. Vehicles, it seems like. So we're going to continue the trend of getting my tanks painted. Except tonight, my brand new Plague Burst Crawler is getting a coat of paint. So I'm good. La-da-dee. We got some news going on today. A lot of new updates in the world of Warhammer. We'll get to that shortly. And trying to catch up with my painting. I slacked off for a couple weeks there and trying to get caught back up. I got a bunch of figures primed and begging to be painted. So we're going to make that happen. So couple things going on. Let's start talking about what's on the bench. If anybody's following my Instagram, you saw this week that we finished painting on Saturday the entirety of my Imperial Guard armor. I've been sitting on my guard for a bit as I tried to mentally work out what I wanted to do for their paint scheme. And once it came to a color that I liked, it kind of made it happen quick. Did them about 90% with airbrush, and then finished off the details with a little bit of brush. But it was a lot of color question, and I had to find some colors that I liked. I got lucky in that I'd been looking at a color that I had a small pot of, and I tested it on a couple things just to kind of see the color, what it would look like dried. And I ended up deciding that XV88 by Citadel was a really good color for a base brown army. I kind of liked it as my camouflage base. So, and because at one point I was painting another army, Caliban green, I had a crap ton of Caliban green in air paints. So I kind of put the two together, and it reminded me very much of my Humvee colors from back during my military days. And since that was kind of the scheme I was going for, it worked out really well. So we did that XV88 as a base coat. and then did Caliban green for the green portion, for the forest green portion of that camouflage. I just kind of randomed it all over, and then added some splotches of black here and there, and came up with a really, really good pattern. Now, if I wanted to be true to military camouflage, I would have painted the barrels in that black as well. But I actually really dug, because I've been messing with a couple different versions of gold, bolt metal and darker metallic colors. And Iron Warriors metallic from Citadel is a really, really nice dark metal. And then rather than washing it in gnome oil, I washed it in Agrax instead, and really got a color I was very pleased with. So a lot of experimentation there, a lot of experimentation. Really pleased with how that color scheme came out. And it kind of solidified how I'm going to paint the rest of that Imperial Guard army. I was kind of on the fence about doing their uniforms in a couple different color schemes, seeing as I'm kind of doing them as a traditional. I'm going to be doing them as traditional Cadians, but rather than giving them the khaki color and then working them, khaki, and then working the armor in green, I'm actually going to kind of go the other route. I'm going to go with a military green for the uniforms themselves, and then work the armor into a dark brown. Hey, Dave, how's it going? I'm going to work the individual infantry units. I'm going to do them. The uniforms are going to be in a military green, like an olive drab. And I've already got the color selected, and then I'm going to do the armor parts in like a dark brown. And I'm going to do their leather in dark brown. And then do their weapons in black with a little bit of dry brushing with Iron Warriors to show where the metallic's been wearing, or where the steel has been wearing. And then do some of the Aquila work that you'll see on a lot of Imperial. Do that in like gold, and then wash that all with a brown. Kind of tie the whole piece together. Hey, Phoenix, Tina, how's it going, guys? So yeah, just working on my second plague crawler. I had to pull my other plague crawler up as a color reference because I want to have them similar, but I want some differences between the two so I can tell the two apart. Very pleased about getting a second death crawler, or plague burst crawler, I'm sorry. Looking at my army, there are some other units I still want, but I will have my first goal when I get either another plague burst crawler, or I've been looking at getting a either a Leviathan or a Dorado Dreadnought for the Death Guard to give them some heavier anti-armor and some bigger guns. And that is all I need to finally get them to a brigade. As that is my goal. That is really my stated goal with these guys. I want to get them to a brigade level force. And once they are a brigade level force, the next goal is to get them some more Marines. I've got a bunch more Marines, and I've got some other things to go along with them. I'm thinking about Kangaroo APC. I have to look at that one. I have to see what that looks like, because if that's a good replacement for the if the Kangaroo APC is a good replacement for, say, either a Rhino or a Chimera, I may have to get a couple of those. I'm not familiar with the vehicle. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. I know a little bit about Victorian miniatures. I don't know a lot about them. What do you guys think? Is that nice plating? I think it is. Kind of dig that. It needs some wash, but kind of dig that that brassy nature. I know a little bit about Victoria. It's not a Chimera. How big is it? I'll have to go look. All right. So this is what's on the bench, as you guys can see. And then after I'm done with this guy, I got I have a league, an escalation league for Age of Sigmar that I'm getting into, that I will be taking my. You might notice I've done a little bit of rearranging, so I won't have to reach as far to find paints. I'm getting into an escalation league for Age of Sigmar, so I need to get some more of my hey, Big Al and Phoenix, love you both. I'm glad you found the shades, Phoenix. I'm glad you got them. They really are a game changer, aren't they? You can say what you want about other people having a better color range, or having better paints, or having better pots, or whatever you want about Games Workshop Citadel / paints. But I'm going to tell you right now, there are only 2 shades that I use on a regular basis. And that is Games Workshop's shades, and some ones I got from Green Surf World. Mathos, how are you, man? You were in the hospital. How are you, sir? So I mean, those shades really are a game changer if you've never used them before. I do not consider myself the greatest of miniature painters, but I will lean on freaking Citadel shades. I gotta say though, honestly, for some uses, I have found the Green Stuff World shades. They're harder to get here in the States. It's good to hear, man. Get better for a man. I don't want to see you get sick like that again. That kind of scared me there. Green Stuff World's their ink shades are really nice, and they come in dropper bottles. Really, really good. I dig them. They're much more sticky. They're like almost like a gel. They really cling. So I dig them, but for different uses. The other thing is that Army Painter makes a trio of sages. They have their soft shade, their medium shade, and their hard shade. They're basically different kind of a brownish shades. They're really good. And they're easy. They're like more like dip washes though, honestly. So trying to get this bad boy up and going. So yeah. So I'm glad you got them, Jess. Those are great. You will truly enjoy using them. And as you use them, you will begin to understand, I think, Citadel has a very specific method to their painting. And the reason I think they developed their method of painting. Hey, Spunky. They're multicolor sets. That's pretty good. Yeah. The thing I like about the specifically the Citadel system is for somebody who's a novice to painting, they teach a system of painting. And then if you just follow their basic instructions, even if you're not a great painter, and even if you're not confident in your painting, you will come away with some nice effects. It's the way that they work their shading and their layering and their base paint and all that, and the way they work their system together to get certain colorations. Quick plug, we are halfway through the month of January. So for those of you who are doing the Speeder Challenge, you got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks. My bad boy's done. You can see the video this weekend and how I brought it together. I don't mind showing them off because it came out like I imagined. It's kind of. I'm super pleased with the Kitbash. So, y'all got 2 weeks. Bring it. Bring it. I'm dying to see what you guys come up with. So yeah, we got this bad boy. I got to get finished up. I got some more Storm Host that I got to get finished up, and when I'm done with the Munchbore Stormcast, I got a number of them I got to get done. I'm going to start painting that Imperial Guard now that I've finally got a paint scheme developed for them. Been talking about it with the Lady Dragon. Been talking to Lady Dragon. She's having difficulty with her tank too. She has some ideas, but she's like, ah. And one of the things that I want to point out to everybody doing this is your idea. Nothing is bad. There are no bad ideas. It's a matter of looking at pieces, shaving, puttying, and repurposing. This guy, I had an idea in my mind of what I wanted to come up with, and I'm so happy that I literally got exactly what I was looking for. I can see where people could beat me. I have seen some bits that other people have been looking at that I wish I'd had access to because I know what I would have done with them. But I'm a terrain guy, so I look at pieces. Only if it's pumice, my friend. The thing is that I'm always looking at trash and how can I repurpose it for making terrain. Or how can I look at regular everyday objects and turn them into something else? So kit bashing for me is the nature of everything I do. As soon as I'm done with this video for the vehicle, and now that I've finished my Savage Fort, I got to do, to go along with that chemical plant scatter I did late last year. I have another chemical piece I want to do, and actually I got to put a shout out to Wylock, because he had commented on my chemical plant, on my chemical scatter, how great it was, and he wanted to give me a shout out to it, and he forgot. And I mentioned it, he forgot, and he's like, "All right, let me make that up to you, because this is a really great project," and he gave me some ideas on how to do mine. So when I do my next chemical project, which is why I'm trying to push it faster, he wants to help promote it. Now, for those of you that don't know who Wylock is a gamer like us. He's a terrain guy like me, but he's really fallen into the 40K hole. He actually just started a second channel on just playing 40K. But he is among terrain builders. As far as the wargaming and as far as the wargaming terrain guys go, he's a top 5. I mean, he's, you talk about him, you talk about DM Scotty, you talk about Black Magic Craft, you talk about who else I think of? I mean, those are the first 3 guys that come to mind when I think about terrain building. Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. If you're not a follower of Jim, the Tabletop Engineer, he's a guy to look at. He's constantly doing like 40K terrain bits. He just kit bashed a Thunderhawk. From ground up, he built a full-sized, completely kit bashed Thunderhawk built from like cardboard and foam board. Just beautiful freaking figure. Built a full-blown Thunderhawk. It was just something incredible. But he does a lot of stuff for what do you call it? He does a lot of stuff for Gaslands. And he does a lot of like just terrain pieces, like a battlefield, just good stuff. If you get a chance, Jim, or just Tabletop Engineer, his name is Jim. He's a great guy. He went through some hardships. He got better. He's got a great channel. Go there, check him out. His teleport, Wylock's teleport pieces, those are so cool. I'll be honest, the best thing I think he's done, he has a modular catwalk and plant that's for 40K. If you guys are familiar with the Mechanicus stuff, he built a cardboard and granny grading version that's easy to build, incredibly easy to build, and he doesn't use magnets. He has an alternate clicking system to lock things together. It's really anybody can build, and they're just freaking fabulous. I was thinking about how can I do this, and I saw his video. I'm like, well, I'm not going to build that project because holy crap, he just knocked it out of the park. So he's a really great guy. So like, if you get a chance, check out Wylock just for terrain ideas. DM Scotty does a lot more D&D type stuff. So if D&D is your jam, go check out DM Scotty. If it's not your jam, it's okay, don't. But he does a lot of really cool stuff. He wants some idea for some set pieces. Black Magic Craft does a good mix. He's doing a lot of stuff for like Frostgrave. He's not a 40K player, but he plays Frostgrave. And so those of us that remember Mordheim, Frostgrave is Osprey Games doing their version of old Mordheim. Instead of people going in to try and find pieces of Warpstone meteorite, instead it's a city that was frozen under ice, and now it's come back, and people are going and getting the treasure that was lost in there. So I mean, and there's a really good example. Tina did an incredible kit bash. She wanted to do her sister. She wanted to do the cherubim, the seraphim, the jet flyer type, the jet flying Sisters of Battle, but she wanted to do them different. So instead of doing them with backpacks, she took the bikes out of the Gene Stealer Kites Jackal pack and turned those bikes into hover bikes and then put sisters on them. It is a badass conversion. So, yeah, Seraphim, whatever. They're so, I mean, I don't play sisters. I know what the jetpack chicks look like, and they're cool, and I dig the wing thing, but I like the fact that she went, I need something different. And so she put the chicks on bikes. And then she took what were regular motorcycles and a regular ATV and converted them into hover vehicles. They're just awesome. Tina, those are great conversions. And that's the kind of stuff I like to see. I like to see people taking miniatures and doing them another way. That's one of the reasons I like the Cromlech bits. I took a box of freaking regular tactical Marines and then using bits from Cromlech and a couple other techniques I'm making a bunch of Plague Marines out of them. But I want to make a detachment of another Chaos. I want to make a detachment of Chaos Marines to put onto, because I want to do Black Legion, kinda. I want to do regular Chaos Marines, so I can do Marines with guns and not just Plague Marines. I want to do a regular Chaos Army. I specifically want to do them as Black Legion, so I can get an Abaddon and built up to go with them. But I'm going to run them as Black Legion, but I don't want to paint them like Black Legion because I'm not really crazy about their colors. But I'm going to run them like that. So I'm going to make them kind of Nurgly because I still love Nurgle. But because they're going to be Chaos United, some are going to be Nurgle. One squad's going to be Nurgles, one squad's going to be Khorne, one squad's going to be Slaanesh, and one squad's going to be Tzeentch. And I'm going to do all of the squads. You can tell this is one squad because they're all the same Chaos God. I got some tips and tricks. Midwinter Minis had some great ideas of things I don't think about in kit bashing figures. So push the envelope. Look for changes. Take a look at a figure and turn it upside down, turn it around. Look at a bit, turn it around. Look at coming around the lids. Look at things in other directions. Stick pieces on a figure. When I took this thing, I sat here with these plates and these pieces and just sat here with no glue. Just took the piece and was like, and just sat there putting and bending and twisting and clipping and just, put it on with some blue tack, held it back and looked at it, took it off, put it someplace else, took it back until I found where I wanted these pieces to go. And until it looked organic to me, until it looked like it was an actual figure, like it was something that I didn't design, it was something that you would buy in a shop. And that's the joy of it. Now, for model builders, you guys know this already because half the fun of a model kit, yeah, you can paint it to look like the boxed art, but where's the fun in that? I think one of the best things I used to love when I was a young boy, my brother would get these magazines. I forget, it was like Modeler magazine. It was just like, it was these magazines of all these different hobby kits. And they would talk about, this is new in the industry, and these guys have these new kits, and they have breakdowns of these new kits, and people are excited for certain kits. It's like your typical trade magazine. But then just like White Dwarf, they would have in there a section where they had people doing dioramas and kit bashes, and just people would submit articles and pictures of their stuff. And I will never forget, there was one kit bash that I saw in one of his magazines, and this was 30 years ago, easily. Now I forget how old I am. Damn. It was 40 years ago, easily 40 years ago. But it was a guy did a pickup truck. It just was a regular old Ford pickup truck. But he beat the hell out of it. He clipped pieces off and chipped it away, and he put in extra pieces so that you could see where the quarter panels had rusted, parts of them had rusted away. And there was Bondo in the paint job. So you could tell this, you replace this piece and he did like a half-ass Bondo job on part of it. And there was rust and dust everywhere. And one of the hubcaps was missing. And one of the hubcaps, the ones that were remaining, didn't match. And the tires weren't matching tires. It was like a junk truck. And there was all this crap that was in the back bed of the truck. And he bought like a bunch of these kits of tools. And there was a toolbox that was spilled out on the floor inside of the cab of the truck. It was spilled on the floor. I don't remember how he did it, but there were beer cans, and there were crushed up beer cans that were sitting in the back of the bed of the truck. There was a beer can that was sitting on the dashboard. And this truck was just, I mean, it was just like you looked at this thing going, holy crap, the eye for detail and all the little things. And I doubt my brother even remembers this model kit. But I remember looking at this thing, and every time I would go through it, he'd hand me one of his magazines. Look at this. And yeah, where's the one with the truck? And I'd go back and pull out that same magazine and kept looking at that truck, because every time I looked at this Kitbash pickup, this ordinary, normal 60s, it was like a 60s Ford F-50, it was just the typical Ford truck. But every time I would look at this model, I would notice something different. And it was just incredible, the eye for detail. And it was stuff like that, and that's what I think of when I want a Kitbash. I want to look at, what can I use to bring this out and just make something special out of a pile of old pieces and a box of junk with extra pieces of guys that I'm never going to freaking use for anything else. What can I do to make them cool? And the thing is, you see it all the time, but you don't always notice it. Some guys just take pieces from different parts, from different kits, and put them together. I saw a while back somebody took a bunch of Skaven, like a bunch of old Skaven heads, and put them on Tau. So they had a Tau Skaven army. I've seen people do Tau Gene Stealers, like, the Gene Stealers got into the Tau, and now that's their Gene Stealer cults, but they're wearing Tau armor. I love seeing stuff like that. There's a really great Demon Prince model I saw, where the Demon Prince is like he's got in his mouth, and he just took one arm and he did this, and they changed the hand, so he's got a piece of an Eldar. He's got like the arm or the leg in his hand, and it's trailing blood, and he's got the rest of the Eldar in his mouth. Just, the gun's on the ground, and he bothered. He put the gun on the ground, and there's pieces of broken armor on the ground, and this half-dead Eldar's in the demon's mouth, and he's ripping the arm off, and it's just like, wow. He took a really common figure, and he did something really cool with it by just adding some bits and some imagination. Cromlech has all these parts. Now you see, that Forge World has all these ways to replace your doors, to make your doors, more like when you want to do your Rhino, and you want to have like your Space Wolf doors, or you want to have your Black Legion doors and that kind of stuff. And that's cool. Cromlech went, no, we're going to make this stuff crazy. They've got Nurgle doors where it's like they're growing, and they've got mouths and eyes and stuff coming out of them. And they've got corn doors where literally the door is skulls. It's just, the door has been replaced with just a pile of skulls. And that's the stuff to think about when you want a Kitbash. What are you trying? You've got to figure you're building from scratch. You've got an opportunity to tell a story with a single figure. So tell that story. I went with this guy, and I went, look, it's got multi-melters, it's got a heavy bolter, it's got the last cannon. It's like, but it's Imperial Guard, and it's the right size. Now they're constantly finding relic type vehicles. Mythos has a relic bike for his Khan, for his White Scars. And if you look at the stats and what this bike does, it's basically a jet bike, but it doesn't have the keyword fly. So he went and took, instead of using a regular bike, he went and actually took a jet bike, and he put a modern day Khan on it, modern day Khan figure. And then he painted it up to look like it's White Scars, and he put some White Scars detailing on it. And so this thing is supposed to be kind of like a jet bike. Well, here it is. It's a jet bike. That's not what this is meant for, but that's what I'm doing with it. this for me, when I play this thing, and I'm going to play this thing in my regular army. I mean, I'm not using an ITC, but I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this in casual games because this has the same weapon loadout and basically the same footprint as a Lehman Russ. But because it hovers, it effectively has track guards. So I'm going to run this as a Ganymede pattern command speeder. And this Ganymede pattern command speeder is basically going to be played as a tank commander for the Imperial Guard with twin multi-meltas, a autocannon, a heavy stubber, and a las cannon. And because it has hover, it effectively has track guards. So it doesn't matter how damaged it is, it still moves at its full speed. So that's my thought. And that's how I'm going to play it. And that's the idea I'm coming up with. It's a relic vehicle that got found. Hey, Atomic Dog, good to see you, buddy. And that's what I'm saying. That's what you when you're looking at your model and you're trying to come up with an idea to Kitbash, think about what you want. What is the story you're telling? So that's on the bench. So let's talk about news of the week. What's going on in the world of Warhammer? Well, first off, Aether Wars was released this weekend. Shockingly, it didn't sell out right away. I actually thought it was going to sell out right away. It's still available at order, and it's still in stores. And if you're thinking about playing Caradon Overlords or wanting to go into Tzeentch, it's a great box. It's got a full unit inside of there that will do you well in either army. And if you got a friend that's going to play the other army, it's a great way to split a box and save a little money and get a unique figure. Additionally, both the Disciples of Tzeentch and the Caradon Overlords got a new codex, and they got some rules reworking. The Followers of Tzeentch also got some new endless spells, beautiful sculpt on those endless spells. Makes me kind of wish I played Tzeentch in AOS, but I don't. So we're thinking about it. Probably not. Sisters of Battle went on sale. Went on sale this weekend, like we knew they would. Oh, what's it I'm painting? I am painting a Plague Burst Crawler. It is the unique tank to the Death Guard. I've got my finished one here. I finished this early last year, and I'm kind of painting mine to be similar but not completely identical. It's the best thing about it. It's alive. You actually can't see it, but there's a fleshy part to this thing. It's a demon trapped inside of a machine. So it's an angry little tank. Because that's what the Death Guard does. It's got a and let me show you the painted one so you can see. It's got this massive mortar on top, and it's got a nice little heavy machine gun in the front here, and then it's got these two secondary weapons, which you can either. I've got the first one magnetized, so I can swap them out. So that you can either get what's called a entropy cannon, which is effectively a heavy-duty las cannon, or the plague spitters, which are these disgusting flamethrowers, but instead of throwing flame, they spew pus, basically, because Nurgle's gross. I realized when I was building my second one that I never swap out for the alternate heavy stubber. I always use the tri-cannon. And I never swap out to the entropy cannons because they suck. And I always use the spitters. So when I built the new one that I got, I didn't bother magnetizing them because I'm not going to play it any other way. I got my tri-cannon and I have my spitters, and that's the way I'm going to play this thing. And I love it. It's a gross little stay in the back if it needs to, or it can run up and tie stuff up and just not die. Mr. Meeks, how are you, sir? Good to see you. As everyone can see, I am flying solo tonight. Like I said earlier, the Lady Dragon is working, framing up some wonderful things for where she works. So flying solo tonight. I'm not used to it. Don't like it very much, to be honest with you. Kind of like having somebody at the board with me. The boy was busy, the girl is sick, and the wife is at work. I'm a sad man. All right. Other news, like I said, Sisters of Battle went on sale this week, like we knew they would. They're going to be available forever now. They're all in plastic. I will be honest, I'm a little disappointed at the price of their units. But they're on par with all the new figs anyhow. No, actually, that list I sent you, the Eliminators are in Shadow Spear, the Infiltrators in Shadow Spear. Everyone else is just regular figures. Some of them are actually the veterans are actually just normal tactical. The veteran, I should say, is a normal tactical Marine, basically a Blood Claw or a Long Fang, not a Long Fang, a Gray Hunter, built with a jump pack, hammer, and a shield. My Smash Captain is what I used to sub in for that figure. It worked out great. That unit, that Smash Captains, they're not exactly captains. They are in kill team. They are considered a veteran sergeant, and they are nasty. My guy with the jump pack won me one of those rounds pretty much by himself in that tournament where I took third place. He basically walked in and decimated the guy's army. So, and by making him a veteran rather than combat, it allows him to spend a command point before the fight and move his movement into the fight, which by having a jetpack, he's got a movement of 12 inches fly. So he can go anywhere he wants, 12 inches. That's pretty gross. And that's a pretty powerful thing. Having a 3-up invul save doesn't hurt. So, all right. Psychic Awakening. Oh, a lot of stuff coming out with Psychic Awakening. The new book should go on pre-order this week, along with the new Dark Angels, the new Dark Angels captain, Captain Lazarus. He was a regular captain and was so badly wounded fighting against the Thousand Suns that they tried to save his life. They couldn't even put him into a dreadnought. He was still going to die. So they decided, we got nothing else to lose. Let's try and put him through the Primaris process. It'll either kill him, he's already going to die, or it'll save him and turn him into a Primaris. And he is now a Primaris. And he is their first named Primaris character. And he is a gorgeous damn figure. That helmet is just beautiful. And the fact that he's running around with this giant two-handed sword of death, just a beautiful figure. The Kender started painting because we had the Dark Vengeance box set. So she painted the Dark Angels half of that army, but she doesn't play really much anymore. She's thinking about getting back into it, but she's still really not into it. That figure, I don't know. She kind of wants to play Sisters, so I don't know what's going on there. But we may have to figure out what we're going to do with our Dark Angels, because I wouldn't mind getting that captain and paying up to go with that army. Pretty cool. So, not that Dark Angels are my jam, but they're still gorgeous. Kind of like Mephiston. I have no interest in playing Blood Angels, but that Mephiston figure is just such a nice figure. So, there it is. The new book that's coming, that's been going on pre-order Friday or Friday, Saturday, Friday or Saturday, I forget which day it is. It's going to have Thousand Suns, Dark Angels, and Grey Knights. Grey Knights are getting some buffs. They showed some of it on their website. They're going to be a lot better. I don't know if it's going to save them as a single faction army. We'll have to see what else comes in the box or what else comes in the book. But it's a big buff. They're getting one of their doctrines will basically give them a bonus to hit and damage with their psychic weapons, which I think is cool. And they're going to get a bonus. One of their doctrines gives them a bonus to smites. Basically, anytime they successfully smite, they get to do an extra wound. So that'll make them tough. That will definitely buff them back up into relevance, I think. We'll see. The Dark Angels, I know they got some. I didn't get a chance to really look over the Dark Angel stuff yet. Thousand Suns, they're getting cult bonuses, so they're gonna. Somebody I know that plays Thousand Suns was saying that it looks like they might even be getting psychic cultists, so their cultists will have psychic abilities. That's going to make them pretty tough to deal with. So, yeah, that's going to be kind of hard. We'll have to see how that goes. That's tough. Along with that, as they always do when they get ready to release the next book or start talking about the next book, or they release the current book, they start talking about the next one. And the first story they've released for the next book involves the Tau and an opening in the warp that they're dealing with in their fifth circle of expansion. And they're dealing with what they think are Marines. But they're like, those aren't Marines. And I love one of the lines in there. The Marine steps out of a fog of haze and smog and smoke. And the Tau commander's looking at him and sees him unleash with his bolter. And he thinks to himself, that bolter sounds somehow wet. Oh, so the Tau are going to be dealing with an invasion from the Death Guard. So the next book's going to be Tau and Death Guard. But some preliminary images that we've seen in Commander Shadow Sun look like there were gene stealers involved. So we're talking about gene stealers, Tau, and Death Guard all in the same fight. I don't see that going well for anyone involved. The Death Guard, well, we can turn any of you guys into poxwalkers, so we don't care. But wow, I mean, that's a heck of a mix. So, yeah, that's definitely for me. That's a buy. I've let the last two kind of go because I haven't really been certain. I probably will pick up the one with the Dark Angels and the Thousand Suns because the Lady Dragon wants to play Thousand Suns. She's like, I want to do a Chaos Army. I want to do Thousand Suns. So, although she wants to do them being led by Magnus rather than Aramon, but she wants to do an Aramon figure too because he's pretty. But she's not going to do them in the red. She wants to do them in blues. So be interesting to see. But she really likes the whole Tzeentch demon-y thing. So that's why I've been looking at that Aether Wars box, because the demons you can use in Aether War, or you can use in Age of Sigmar. You can use the demons on both Age of Sigmar and Warhammer. So that's why we kind of looking at that. And, steampunk dwarves, always a good thing. So there's that. That's your news. Still no word on my wolves in the orcs. Mad about that. Very mad. Grr. Not happy at all. Messing around with some mold making. You might see them over here behind me. I used to do plaster casting for some of my terrain pieces, and going through my cabinet, I found some boxes of some Smooth-On mold maker. So I had some textured bases that you can't buy separately. You can't buy the textured bases separately that I found. So I am reduced to making a mold of them, and then I'm going to get some resin, and then Smooth On makes a 2-part plastic that cooks up in 3 minutes and then cures in 10. Really inexpensive. So I think I'm going to be making a set of bases because I want to use some of these bases for my Blood Bowl team, and I want to use these other bases for my my upcoming next army. It's not ready yet. Not really announcing it yet. Not really painting it yet. But I want to start getting the bases built for them. Because you guys know me, bases are all what I'm about. And while I was messing around with the bases, I was just trying to see what I could do. See how much I could actually make. So I made a casting of a piece that I got, of a cromlech piece that I got. It's hard to get cromlech stuff here in the States. I can get some pieces, but some pieces are harder. And I really love this piece, and I want to make a Nurgle board. So I want like 6 or 7 of these to do craters, the equivalent of Nurgle craters on the board. So I have one. I cast it. I'm going to make a couple plaster ones that I'm going to chip out and make differently. And then I'm going to do a couple resin ones so they're almost identical to this. Cromlech makes 3 different kinds of these swampy pieces. I'm going to try and get my hands in there too. And then using the mushrooms, because I have a ton of their mushroom stuff. I want to make an actual Nurgle board. Just the board base, and have the pieces I can just put down on the board to Nurgle it up. What about the rumor engine picture? Well, here's the thing. I didn't get a good look at that one. The last one I saw was the Elven swordy looking thing. I think that's to do with the pointy elves that they've been talking about, honestly. Then I saw there was one recently where it looks like a statuary or something. I don't know. To me, it looks like more Trogoth stuff, honestly. So those are the ones I haven't seen. If there was a brand new one today, I didn't see it. Work's been really crazy, so I don't have the browsing time, and I was out there late. And because the president was in town today, getting out of downtown so I could come home and have a few minutes to brush up on stuff before I started the stream, that didn't happen either. So I got home long enough to scarf down a couple burgers, pour myself some Baileys, and turn on the camera. So I'll look at it, and we'll a shield with skulls hanging out of it. Well, I mean, like I said, there is, every time they've released one of these Psychic Awakening books, they've released new models for everybody involved or new rules. So this next book has Lazarus. It might be the only figure comes out of it, but there's going to be Lazarus. And then one after that's going to have Shadow Sun. But it looks like a fantasy orc shield. Well, I mean, from what I've been hearing, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe for fantasy. So we'll see. I haven't seen it a lot. Again, I'm kind of really engrossed right now. We've been talking about, I'll be honest, Lady Dragon is really excited about fantasy right now. Yeah, the dwarf shield is part of it. I'll have to take a look at it. Fantasy Orcs got a refresh not too long ago, so that's going to be hard to say. And the ogres already got their the ogres are brand. The ogre are now all new, so I'll take a look at it. I'll be honest, I've been missing a lot of the guesses on them. I'm like, oh, it's one of these, not even close. Well, it's one of these, not even close. So, and then they did one thing where it was funny. Somebody pieced it together. They had 5 separate pieces of Rumor Engine and it was all the same damn model. It's like, what the hell, man? They just took 5 different little pieces of detail on the model from 5 different angles, and that's where they came up with their freaking rumor engine. Part of me kind of doesn't like the rumor engine because they're purposely misleading sometimes. I'm not a fan of that. If you're gonna rumor engine things, I'll be honest. What I think would be cool if they did the rumor engine, rather than just making it a single piece where you're kind of going, do a model, do the Pokemon thing. Do the model, but just do an outline of the damn thing. And then let people really go, what the hell is this? I think that'd be cool. But, you know, that's me. I don't know. If I want a spoiler, I want a decent spoiler. I want to see, what am I looking at? What am I looking at? Oh, we got that. What else are we looking at? Trying to think what we got going on here. Well, I mean, you guys have seen Her Lady of Linder. She has been cranking on Lady Dragon's been cranking on her Cornish stuff. If you guys haven't checked out her Instagram lately, she just finished up her bases for her bloodletters. Not bloodletters. They're I think they're bloodletters. I forget what they're called. They're her the rank and file troops of the Blades of Corn. And she did a set of lava bases. And god damn it, you know, I worked really hard to come up with some really cool basing ideas. She went, I got an idea. And just kind of knocked it out the park on her first try. I mean, I'm getting tired of this crap. So Noob comes in, has an idea, and just does it. It's like, damn it, that looks great. So she knocked out those bases. They just look amazing. She also painted something else up. I'm trying to remember what, because it's not. Oh, her Raider. Yeah, she finally finished her Raider. She's been working on that thing for she said a year. She's been working on it since July. So 7 months, 6 months, something like that. It got built and it got primed, and then she just kind of picked at it for the last 6 months and doing other stuff. And pick it a little bit and go back. She's finally done with the damn thing, and it looks freaking amazing. So she's finally got a decent transport for her Dark Eldar. She wants to finish all the rest of her Cornish stuff before she does anything else. But she just wanted to finish it up to get it off the bench. Right now, we're kind of in clearing mode. I've made a promise to myself not to build anything else until I finish what I've got on my bench. And then I went and built this the day I got it in because I'm like, I want my damn tank. I want to be able to take 2 of these things and run them down a table at somebody. So, such a beautiful figure. Just an ugly, nasty, beat you in the face type model. I love this thing. I did my Ganymede pattern command speeder. We have to do our GUR board. We have the piece for it. We just haven't gotten around to building it yet. Her work is really, I mean, she loves it, but it's been intrusive, damn it. It's taking my wife away from me and time to use for hobbying. So I'm disappointed. But I love the fact she's working, and I love the fact she's working in a job that she loves. So that's important, and that's good. So we got a GUR board we got to do for Kill Team / Warcry. I got to do a chemical plant that I got to do probably next. So the not a chemical plant. It's a chemical piece. You'll see what I mean when I do it. So we're going to do the Ganymede thing, and then we're going to do a chemical piece. Then we'll probably do the board. And then you guys will finally get to the last half of that huge Imperial fortress I've been building. I'll finally get to the gate piece on that. We're going to be building a lot of terrain this year. I've got a lot of really, really great ideas for terrain. So you're going to be seeing a lot of terrain because we have enough models to last. I mean, she has so many models. We actually talked about this. Not that she builds slow, and I'm not making fun of her, and I want to make clear this. So you guys have me as a witness. I am not making fun of the way she builds or paints models. She takes her time. She takes a long time with her models. Takes a very long time, and she gets beautiful results. Her Raider is a perfect example. That thing is a piece of art. She has models. She even looked at it honestly, and she was like, I don't know if I'm actually able to get to all these models this year. She has an entire Blood of the Phoenix box. She has the Night Haunt half of a Soul Wars box. She still has a couple more. I think she has one full start collecting box for her Jukari. Plus, I think she has 2 boxes of Kabbalite troops. So she's kind of set for models probably for the rest of the year. If anything, she might be late in the year, get to the point where she actually has some freedom of modeling. I have a ton of Marines I need to put together. But I got to finish everything I've got on deck right now. And that means that's at least 1,500 points of Stormcast that I got to get through. And I have a Gellerpox infected army or units. I have the Gellerpox infected. I don't even have built yet. I'm not building them until I'm done painting everything I've got. But I got to build and paint those guys. I got to build and paint the rest of the Plague Marines I've got. I have a figure I am building for a friend, and it's done being built. I just got to get that thing painted. And I'll get to that. It's in a weird color scheme, so I'm kind of hemming and hawing on how exactly I want to do this color scheme for this thing, because it's not the easiest color scheme to paint. This is the right time. This is the good time of the year for project planning and working it. Working it out. Because we're not going outside. I'm not an outdoorsy person to begin with, but in the summer I've got things I can go do at least somewhat, and in the winter, yeah, I stay inside where it's warm because I don't like getting cold. Say what you want about the fat man, but fat man gets cold and then fat man's angry. Fat men don't like getting cold. So we got a lot of terrain we're building this year. I've got, once I'm done with that Imperial Fortress, I want to build some more Mechanicus stuff, and I want to build some more. I want to build some more generic use stuff. I've got an idea for a tower, not a medieval tower, a flight tower, control tower. So you can use it as an outpost tower, a radio tower, or it's going to be a taller piece. You can put snipers in it, use it for that. A couple ideas there. We saw some MDF kits that you can't actually get in the States. I found a supplier that makes them, but they can't get them outside of Europe. They don't have rights to internationally transport stuff. World War I style stuff, no. Ugh. Yeah, that's the whole thing, and that's one of the things I want to do this year. I'll be honest with you. Having guys like you and Weather Pig and Kaiju and my brother around have reignited my desire, with all the modeling I'm doing, reignited my desire to actually do models, like, non-miniature wargaming models. I really love World War II aircraft. I have a great love for World War II aircraft, and specifically, the Spitfire, the Lightning, and the Corsair. Those are literally my 3 favorite planes of that era. I love the Spitfire. I just love the Spitfire to death. when I was a little kid, I fell in love with a TV show. I don't even, most of you don't even remember. Some of you might remember. I know Al remembers it, but there was a really great TV show called Baba Black Sheep, and they had those blue Marines. I think those are called Corsairs. If I remember right, they're called Corsairs. They have these beautiful reverse gull wing type wings. I mean, they bend down and come way out. The Marines used them in the Pacific, and they were just gorgeous, gorgeous planes, and I used to love that show. So, yeah, military. If you want to look at World War I stuff, and you want to look at traditional World War II terrain, oh, you know who Pappy is. All right. Yeah, I was going to say, actually, here's the thing. Real quick, just a side note here. Commodore, I'm actually a Patreon member for Mel. I have learned more about does a big Burma board. He does this huge Burma Pappy Boyington. That's exactly it. Yeah, those planes to me, those are iconic. And then of course, the P-38 Lightning. I just love that freaking plane. And that's the thing. I actually before I do them, because I want to figure out what I'm gonna do. I have a gift for you from that I got received from a friend of mine in England that sent me an aircraft from England. That he sent me an aircraft kit that I want to actually give to you, Al. So because I know, well, I'm gonna pump you up here because you are the best modeler I've ever seen, and I've seen people do some great stuff. I'm sorry, you are the best modeler I know. One of the best I've ever seen. You are absolutely incredible. So, and I've seen the stuff you did. That plane you showed me, where you are literally metal plating the entirety of the freaking outside of that plane with that. God, that was just not paint, but you were actually using metal film on that plane, and I was just like, holy crap, man, damn. That you just that's the one thing I love about this hobby. And I mean modeling and kit bashing and 40K and all this stuff. One of the things I love about the hobby is the fact that I can go and look at somebody else's stuff and I can see the stuff they did that's great. And if I go, hey, that's really great, I want to try what you did. And I'm like, hey, this is how I did it. Yeah, that P-47D Thunderbolt. God, I remember seeing you plate that thing up. I was just like, God, this is nasty. It's so cool. And that's the thing. You go to another, there are some hobbies where people have secrets and they want to keep them to themselves. And I've never seen that with hobbyists. Hobbyists are like, how the hell did you do that? Well, let me show you. And they want to show each other how they do this, because the whole idea is that if I show you how to do this, then you get better. And then you might figure something out that I don't know how to do as good, and you'll do it better, and you'll show me. And that's what I love. That's what I love about this hobby. We all are learning this together, no matter how long we've been doing this. We're all learning from each other. We're all learning new techniques. We're all learning how to do what we do better. I've been painting miniatures for 30 years, and I'm okay. I can do some good stuff. My wife's been painting for 6 months, 7 months now. And she did something and showed me how she did it. I'm like, damn, I never would have thought of it that way. I've been kit bashing forever because, that was what I brought to the table, is a mind to look at how to reuse other things. And I went to Midwinter Minis and I saw him how he kit bashed. You too, Atomic Dog. Be well, my friend. Be well. I went to Midwinter Minis and I watched his video of him kit bashing some Cromlech pieces and some big marine bits and some regular marine bits. to make a group of regular Marines, but they were Nurgle-based Marines. And he took like a box of 10 figures and a box of 5 figures and some Kremlin pieces, and he made 27 flipping figures out of a whole bunch of things. And they were beautiful. And they were just, and he showed them before he primed them, so he could show you how he put the pieces together. I was looking at some Tau stuff and how somebody cut up a Gundam kit to make their Storm Surge look different than every other freaking Storm Surge, and how they were taking pieces from Gundam kits and from modern fighter kits, like the stealth bomber and the F-35, and they were taking pieces from those kits and were using them to make their Tau look different than every other Tau kit out there. And I was shocked and just amazed. And every time I see people do stuff with freaking these Chaos Knights, now the Chaos Knights by themselves are pretty cool, but they're pretty generic, especially when you think about how Demon and Warp twist things. And some of the best conversions I've seen is the way people have taken these Chaos Knights and just gone insane putting crap on them. Just gone nuts. I saw a Nurgle Knight. Somebody took one of the big, one of the big like Castellan level or Palin level knights, and they took the head off the whole thing, and they used a bloat drone mouth, and not bloat drone, mephitic blight hauler, and they ripped the extra legs off, and they ripped all the extra pieces off, and they just used the face and the little helmet part, and they turned that into the knight's head, and then they took a bunch, one of the shoulder plates, and ripped it open, and then had a bunch of like tentacles and stuff coming out of it, and half it was just sculpted out of green stuff, and then they took like about 2 feet of chain, and they wrapped one of the arms in chain, and then that clawed hand, they took the fingers off of the claws, and they went and took the claws, the clawed legs off of a bloat drone, the flying bloat drones out of the Age of Sigmar, the Nurgle demon. They took the legs and they cut them and then drilled holes and segmented them to make them look mechanical. And so it's got these mechanical fingers that look like insect claws. And I'm just looking at this model going, holy crap, the amount of work they did on this thing. But when they're done, it's like, this is my Nurgle Knight. You're like, this thing is amazing. So, I'm talking a lot about kit bashing because I'm in that mode right now. I'm trying to gear up to do my orcs, and I want to kit bash the crap out of my orcs. I want to kit bash the holy living crap out of my orcs. I want to get an orc truck kit, but I don't want to build that model. I want to use that for the bits, so I can take a couple of 1/64th scale and maybe some 1/60th scale, or maybe some 1/60th scale trucks, like some World War II type armored vehicles, or like a German half track, or an American Deuce and a half, and use the orc bits to convert these other models into orc trucks. I'm looking at all my extra bits conversions. Oh God, I saw a conversion to this week. Yeah, the doof wagon from Fury Road. The one I saw this week, I was just like, that's a freaking win. If you know orcs, one of their clans is the Bad Moons, and their symbol is literally a big crescent moon. Well, they went and took a Doom Scythe from the Necrons, which is a big crescent vehicle. They turned it sideways, so the crescent is a big moon. And then they put wings on it and put a big orc melt-a-gun cannon, whatever they call that thing on the side there, and have an orc driver on a cockpit they put on the side of this thing. And he's sitting there hanging out, shooting. He's got a steering wheel and he's got a gun he's hanging out of his hand. And they turn this into a DACA jet. But it's sideways. It's a freaking moon. And if you're familiar with the orcs are all about repurposing tech. So it made sense. And he's done 4 vehicles like this. He took a Land Raider and turned it into an orcish battle wagon. It's crazy. This thing's just bristling with guns. And it all looks like it's bolted together and half held together. That's the stuff that inspires me. I'll be honest, that's half the reason I want to do the orcs. Half the reason I want to do the orcs is just so I can kitbash the holy living crap out of some old model kits and some current kits and turn them into just unique models that I can put on the board and go, that is mine and I built that. Goobertown Hobbies, where I got the idea for doing these. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a CD. That's the base. It's a CD. He took a Dark Eldar Raider body and he strapped it to the top of his deodorant bottle. And then literally took plastic strips and made it look like they're stripped on and then chained it on. And he turned it into an orc attack flight thing. He's got Eldar pieces on there and Imperial Guard pieces on there and Marine pieces. And he's got this group of orcs. And I'm just like, holy crap, that is just stupidly cool. I have this really great model gifted to me from a friend, the Commodore, of a Noise Marine. I don't know I'm going to build it to play it. It's one of the few models I'm looking at that I don't want to build it to play it. You speak of Fury Road. I want to build the wagon, the doof wagon from Fury Road, and put him on the front end of it like the guy in Fury Road with the flamethrower guitar. I want to put him on the front of that thing. A week ago, I showed it to Mythos. Somebody took the Noise Marine and modded it a little bit and hit the paint job, so it looked like Elvis from his Blue Hawaii concert. I was like, "Are you kidding me? That is stupidly cool." The thing I love about this hobby, other than us teaching each other, is the fact that you don't have to be afraid to try anything, because no matter how stupid it is, it looks cool when you're done, and people are going to be like, that's awesome. Thus, Tina's bikes, those hover bikes. Crazy cool. Such a cool mod. Such a really cool kit bash. It's a lot of fun to be had in this hobby. Just need a little bit of imagination and a whole lot of glue and some milliput or green stuff or epoxy putty, and you can make anything happen. It was a good weekend. Dropping off the top of Fredericks a second. Go Pack. Ha. Go Packers. Hope they kick the 49ers ass next weekend. Go Titans. I don't know. Titans or Chiefs. That's pretty cool. And I know not all of your football fans. I am. I love football. I love football. Always have. Always will. And go Pack. Huh. So, we got about 10 minutes left. Let's go back to some earlier format from the way I used to do this channel. Anybody got any questions or any ideas or something they want me to expand on, something that you want to hear me talk about and hear my thoughts on? Throw them out in the chat. What do you think? Let me hear from you. What are you thinking? What do you want to hear from the mind of Big D? Especially since we don't have Zane here. I'm beginning to believe that Zane is short for zany. We don't have Zane here to derail the conversation. Yeah, everybody is fast asleep. Everybody is slow typing. Big thing here. I should be when I do, just so it said, when I do the video for this weekend, when I put this up, I will also be putting a giveaway on that. Yeah, I think everybody did too. I'm putting a giveaway on that video. What do I use for snow? Well, two things. If I'm only doing a little bit of snow, if I'm just doing a little bit of snow at a time, I actually use Valhalla Blizzard. It's what I use on my bases when I do my ice bases. I like Valhalla Blizzard. I think it has just the right texture and just the right shape capabilities that for basing, it works really well. If I'm going to do a larger amount of snow, like I'm going to do an actual ice board, and I want to do a lot of snow, Woodland Scenics makes a very fine flock, a fine snow flock. But the problem is that if you just use it by itself, it just looks like you're putting white flock on a board. So what I will do is I will mix it with there is I forget the name of the company, but it's a very fine white and silvery powder that adds just a little bit of sparkle to the snow, because snow does have a little sparkle. I'll put just a little tiny bit of it in there. I'll mix in, it'll mainly be the white flock, the Woodland Scenics white flock, a little bit of that stuff for just some sparkle, and I'll mix it into a gel medium. And then I'll peak it and put it around places where I want to lay it down. And that'll give you a nice snow texture. What do I think of Green Stuff UV resin? I love it. I wish I could get my hands on some. The biggest problem with Green Stuff World is that for me, because they are in Spain, the three things I have ordered from them have taken 3 to 4 weeks to arrive. And that was the shortest time. I've ordered 3 things from them. I ordered some stampers, and those took 3.5 weeks to arrive. I ordered some of their inks after I got the stuff from Nick at IDIC Beer. I ordered a second set, and those took a little bit over a month to arrive. And then I ordered some of their flock because I wanted to test out their flock. And I just ordered a small bag of it, but that took a little bit over a month to get to. So the biggest problem I have with getting stuff for Green Stuff World is that basically, if you want a small order, don't order anything you need quickly. And plan an order, because just like shifting lands, they'll try, if you get multiple things, they'll try and pack it all into one order for you. they'll pack it all in one order for you. I will say the other thing I am on a whole right now, and I don't think it's a big deal, um, because I'm all about supporting a family business, and that's the thing. Green Stuff World, as I understand it, is a single family owned business. Um, he sources a lot of stuff, but the guy who owns Green Stuff World it's a single guy. It's a single family, and it's him and I think his wife and his brother. I think that run the whole thing. Um, they did some pretty shady stuff on YouTube a couple weeks back. And they apologized for it, and they were very cool about it, and they tried to undo what they did. But they basically applied for a trademark on the word color shift paint. Now, the problem is color shift paint is a descriptive term that is an existing descriptive term for a type of paint. I've got a set of color shifting paints from a company called TurboDark. Well, in lieu of dealing with this copyright, TurboDark has had to change the official name of their paints. Vallejo changed the official name of their paints, of their color changing paints. They had to change the name because Green Stuff World's been really, really aggressive about DCMAing people, or DCMAing channels for using the wrong term. What they consider, Vallejo's paints aren't color shifters; those are our colors. You have to use their proper name, and they made it right. They apologized. They got the strike removed and all that. But it's like, wow, dude, color shifting paint. You can't the color shift paint. That's a term. Automotive has been using color shifting paints for 30 years. At least. You don't own the term color shifting paint. But and he's just trying to protect his business, but at the same time, he's overzealous and it kind of gave me some jeebies about it. Flip side is, he has some really good products. Like, I want a set of his rollers really badly. There's a couple of his rollers specifically that I want, because I want to use them to make some really cool bases. I want his leaf punch. He makes a leaf punch that is just freaking fabulous. So Green Stuff World has some great stuff, but if you get stuff from him, drop a big order. Get a bunch of different stuff from him at the same time. The person whose opinion that I go by, that Green Stuff World UV resin being great, is I go by Jeremy at Black Magic Craft. I have followed Jeremy's instructions on how to do things, and yes, he's come up with some really good instructions. And the way he describes to do things, a lot of it's the same way I already did stuff. So he thinks the way I do in a lot of ways, and a lot of stuff he does I approve of. I like his methodology. So when he endorses a product, the couple times I've actually went out and bought the product because he endorsed it, he was right. He used their UV resin, their UV resin a lot. And he said, it is fabulous. So if he's telling me it's fabulous, I'm going to go buy it's fabulous. The idea to be able to quickly put something in the resin, using like boom, done, that sounds great to me. I mean, I can see a bunch of different uses for it. And that's the thing I'm trying to think about. The problem is, Al, we all got to be in the same area. That's the whole thing. Meeks, what state are you in? Let me put it that way. What state are you in? If you're even in the States. Because I don't remember where you're at in the world. Because it's funny. There's a bunch of people that I know here. So what? That's not an invalid choice. I got a buddy of mine that does. They order a bunch of stuff from overseas for use in the hobby, and because he and his buddies get together, they all do it together. Safe future. All right, well, maybe we have to talk about it because maybe it's something we talk about offline because that's not a bad idea. There is some stuff from Green Stuff World I want to get. We could figure it out. And since I have Patreons, which as we come to close the end of the show, I'm going to quick give my shout outs to my wonderful Patreons. Joe Bookish, Henrik Botha, and Commodore and Inquisitor Zane at my Wolf Lord level, the $3 a month Patreons. Thank you very so much. You make this possible. And Commodore, my buddy Nick, thank you so much. It's a $10 Patreon. You are not only the moderator in this chat, but you are also a good friend. And I appreciate your patronage, sir. You make this hobby possible. Thank you so much. If you have not already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm picks it up and knows that this is quality content. If you're not a subscriber, which I think y'all are, but if you're not, hit that subscribe button. If you're not ringing that bell, you should be ringing that bell. That way you know, because you never know when we're going to jump on and do it. F it, we're going to do it live because I got a wild hair up my butt, or Lady Dragon had an idea and she wants to talk to you guys about it. So ring that bell, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, throw your comments. If you guys got something you guys want me to talk about, throw your comments below. If you're watching this in my archive, again, give me a like and say hi. Let me know where you're at. This weekend, which is, today's the 14th, so 15th, 16, 17, 18, 19. On the 19th, I will be releasing a video in the how-to I built my Ganymede drone or my Ganymede speeder. At that same time, I will be doing a giveaway at that time. I'll be setting up a giveaway. This is not the pay it forward box. This is open to any and all of my subscribers. So I'm going to put that out there now. So when that speeder video comes up, I want to see some responses because we require you to respond to the video. And I'll be getting you something special out of that. So that being said, my friends, we're going to move on for the evening. As it's been a long day. I'm tired. I got to finish painting and I can't focus because you guys are so special to me. I got to keep looking at you. So thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight. I'm Big D. I would say I love you from the Lady Dragon, but she's not here. So you only get me tonight. Remember, everybody, push your boundaries. Always try and do something better. Always try and do something different. Look at your stuff in a different direction and try to come up with something great. You know you can, because every one of you is as great as you think you are. And you're even greater than that. So epic your board, and epic your game. And remember, always be a good sport, no matter what it is you do in life. One thing we learned from the game is that you always be gracious, no matter how bad it gets. Game on, my friends. Be well.